Want to know something they don't mention when you begin emergency preparedness? Certain essential survival purchases can actually register you in monitoring systems. I'm Zach, and I've been involved in preparedness since 2012. Today, I'll reveal 11 specific purchases that might place you on what I refer to as the preparedness watch list. These aren't unfounded theories. They're verifiable facts rooted in current laws, mandatory disclosure rules, and active monitoring infrastructure. After watching this, you'll understand precisely which transactions attract scrutiny, their significance, and crucially, how to approach readiness strategically without drawing unwanted focus to yourself. Here's why this matters so much. We exist in an era where emergency readiness is both promoted and observed. Authorities prefer citizens prepared adequately to avoid overwhelming crisis resources, yet not so autonomous that they function entirely outside institutional frameworks. An invisible threshold exists, and specific transactions push you beyond it. What I'm sharing isn't meant to create anxiety. It's about making educated choices with complete awareness. Let's begin. Purchase number 1: night vision and thermal imaging equipment. This represents a major boundary crossing. When acquiring sophisticated night vision equipment like PVS-14 binoculars or premium thermal scopes, you're obtaining more than recreational hunting tools. You're purchasing technology governed by ITAR, the International Traffic in Arms Regulations. These devices qualify as defense articles, meaning every transaction gets documented, and that data becomes accessible to federal authorities. I'm not discouraging night vision ownership. I'm emphasizing you must grasp the consequences of such acquisitions. Retailers must confirm U.S. citizenship, your transaction enters official records, and federal agencies now recognize you've obtained capabilities providing substantial tactical advantages in darkness. These are capabilities historically reserved for government monopoly. Consider their viewpoint. Night vision enables movement, observation, and operation when others cannot see. That's precisely the force multiplication factor that distinguishes someone in databases. Legal ownership? Certainly in most situations. Does it identify you as possessing enhanced capabilities? Equally certain. Understanding this exchange before purchasing is essential. Purchase number 2: large-scale fuel storage. This surprises many people. I don't mean several 5-gallon containers for lawn equipment. I'm discussing 55-gallon barrels, 250-gallon reservoirs, or larger permanent fuel storage installations for gasoline or diesel. Fuel represents energy autonomy. Sufficient stored fuel means running generators, powering vehicles, operating machinery, and maintaining transportation when others are immobilized. During crises with fuel rationing or controlled distribution, personal reserves mean you've circumvented their control systems entirely. Substantial fuel acquisitions and storage installations demand permits in numerous jurisdictions. Fire officials get involved. Hazardous material regulations apply. Environmental authorities monitor it. This creates documentation trails leading directly to you. Here's an uncomfortable reality I discovered in 2016 while researching emergency authority legislation. During declared emergencies, existing legal mechanisms permit requisition or confiscation of critical resources, including fuel reserves. Your strategic planning essentially creates a resource collection roadmap. You believed you were being responsible, ensuring your family could endure extended crises, and you were. But you also made yourself visible to any agency securing fuel supplies during emergencies. It's a calculated exposure you must understand beforehand. Purchase number 3: advanced medical supplies in quantity. Standard first aid kits don't attract notice. However, ordering items like veterinary antibiotics in bulk, multiple surgical kits, cases of hemostatic dressings, chest seals, and tourniquets triggers pattern recognition systems. Algorithms monitoring purchase behavior identify anomalies. Why does a civilian household require trauma supplies suitable for treating numerous casualties? Why are antibiotics being stockpiled? Are you planning to run medical facilities outside regulated healthcare infrastructure? The reasoning makes sense. During complete breakdown scenarios, medical care might be inaccessible. Treating serious injuries or infections could save lives. But from surveillance perspectives, this purchasing pattern indicates someone preparing to function independently of government-controlled healthcare infrastructure. That makes you noteworthy to certain agencies. An invisible boundary exists between responsible preparedness with quality trauma kits and appearing to prepare for combat or total societal collapse. Where that boundary sits is subjective and probably differs by location, but it exists. Crossing it means your purchases generate reports. Purchase number 4, encrypted communication systems. I'm referencing encrypted radios, military-grade systems with encryption features, and advanced ham radio configurations with digital encrypted modes. In a world where every call, message, and email faces potential monitoring, private communication ability is powerful. Basic ham radios are one thing. Acquiring encryption capabilities creates surveillance grid blind spots. You're establishing coordination, organization, and communication abilities that resist easy monitoring. That's exactly the capability attracting attention. Consider any major emergency. Cellular networks overload or fail completely. Government becomes the primary information and instruction source. With private encrypted communication networks, you operate outside information control structures. You can verify what you're told. You can coordinate with others. You can make independent decisions based on unfiltered information. That independence threatens any system relying on controlling information flow. Advanced communication equipment sales can be monitored. Online forums discussing these topics are watched. The community itself faces observation. Recognizing this reality isn't paranoia, it's situational awareness. Now, before continuing, I want to share something making all this more practical and actionable. Because I know how overwhelming preparedness feels, especially determining priorities on limited budgets. I've created a completely free guide revealing how to transform just $50 into 90-day food supplies for unpredictable times. This guide stems from years of personal trial and error, designed to build your family's food security and peace of mind through simple, proven methods. No experience required and definitely no massive budget needed. Here's what's inside this free guide. The precise $50 shopping list feeding your family beyond 90 days. Specific brands, prices, everything needed. 37 critical preparedness items most people overlook. Number 23 will surprise you. Simple storage techniques working in houses or small apartments. Emergency meal preparation requiring zero cooking fuel or electricity. Gas station snacks perfect for bartering, something people underestimate. Scaling up from 1 week to 3 months confidently. Storage strategies, keeping supplies organized and fresh for years. The one oil remaining shelf-stable and safe long-term. This is yours completely free. The link is in the description below and pinned comment. Click it and tell me where to send your copy. Trust me, this becomes a resource you'll reference repeatedly while building preparedness foundations. Let's return to the watch list. Purchase number 6, industrial-scale water purification systems. Not Sawyer Minis or Life Straws for bug-out bags. I mean systems purifying hundreds or thousands of gallons. Systems serving neighborhoods or small communities. Water exceeds food in criticality. You survive weeks without food, but only days without water. After major disasters, clean water becomes the most precious resource. Systems converting contaminated water into safe drinking water at large scales essentially become critical infrastructure. Here's the issue. Critical infrastructure can be commandeered, controlled, or seized during emergencies. When purchasing industrial-scale filtration equipment, you signal capability for water independence, not just personally, but potentially for larger groups. That makes you a person of interest. During crises, they need knowing where water purification capabilities exist for potential requisition or control. Government perspective logic makes sense. They manage resources and prevent chaos. But from your perspective, trying to take responsibility for your family and possibly help neighbors, it feels like punishment for preparedness. It's a tension existing throughout emergency management policy. Purchase number 7, body armor, and tactical equipment. This gets really interesting because body armor is purely defensive. It harms nobody, just protects the wearer. Yet in many jurisdictions, it's increasingly restricted and purchases are definitely tracked. When buying ceramic or steel plates and plate carriers, that purchase gets logged alongside any firearms purchases. Databases communicate with each other. If you've also acquired night vision, bulk ammunition, and secure radios, your profile escalates significantly. Algorithms see someone not just prepared for emergencies, but equipped for tactical operations. Body armor represents a philosophical declaration. I believe times might come when threats to my safety require ballistic protection. That's reasonable given certain scenarios, but it's also a mindset making authorities nervous. They see someone considering armed confrontations, even if you're just thinking about protection during civil unrest. State laws vary dramatically. Some locations don't care. Others have begun restricting purchases or requiring registration. The trend moves toward more restriction, not less, telling you everything about how these items are perceived. Purchase number 7. Bulk ammunition and reloading components. This is probably the most recognized item on this list, but people don't always grasp the full monitoring scope. It's not just quantity, it's patterns. Every ammunition case you purchase gets logged, especially using credit cards. Financial institutions must file suspicious activity reports for unusual purchasing patterns. What defines unusual? That's subjective, but buying thousands of rounds definitely qualifies. Algorithms watch for recurring bulk purchases over time, building profiles of your ammunition stockpile based on buying behavior. Reloading supplies elevate this further because they represent ammunition independence. Primers, powder, bullets, brass, and assembly equipment means you're closing the loop. You're not dependent on ammunition manufacturers or distributors. In their eyes, you're becoming a small-scale ammunition producer. Efforts have been made to track and restrict reloading components more heavily, including proposals for serialization, taxation, and purchase limits. Every gun control push mentions reloading supplies because they represent maintaining shooting capabilities even if ammunition sales are restricted. If you're still watching, I can tell you're serious about preparedness, and I want ensuring you never miss content that could genuinely benefit you and your family. Hit that subscribe button and activate notifications. This channel focuses on practical preparedness without fear-mongering, and I've got much more to share. Purchase number 8. Drones and surveillance technology. Drones have become incredibly affordable and capable recently. For preparedness-minded individuals, drones represent situational awareness, scouting property, checking roads, identifying threats at distance, and gathering intelligence without exposing yourself to danger. It's massive force multiplication. But drones are heavily regulated and monitored. You must register with the FAA. Remote ID requirements mean your drone broadcasts its location and your location in real time during flight. Manufacturers log flight data. Many drones upload GPS tracks and even video footage to cloud servers, all subpoena-ready. No-fly zones are expanding. Restrictions during emergencies would likely ground civilian drones immediately, citing responder safety or national security. But the real reason is information control. They don't want civilians having aerial surveillance capabilities that could contradict official narratives or reveal things they prefer hidden. Owning drones gives you unfiltered truth. You can see what's actually happening in your area with your own eyes, or at least your own camera. But it also creates detailed digital trails leading straight to your door. The advantage comes with exposure, requiring careful weighing. Purchase number 9. Bulk seeds and small-scale farming equipment. This catches people off guard because seeds seem so innocent. What's threatening about heirloom tomato seeds? The answer is food independence. Control food and you control people. Historically proven.
When purchasing 50-pound grain bags, massive heirloom seed orders, walk-behind tractors, grain mills, canning supplies, and everything needed for small-scale food production, you signal building parallel infrastructure. You're working toward futures where you can feed yourself and others without the industrial food system. In normal times, this is just homesteading. In crisis times, it becomes something different. Historical precedent exists for nationalizing or seizing agricultural production during emergencies. Your seeds, equipment, harvest could be declared community assets or requisitioned for the common good. These purchases aren't tracked like firearms, not yet, but paper trails exist. Large agricultural purchases from suppliers create records. Bulk seed orders from major companies enter databases. If necessary, they could map who has capability for producing food outside the system. The more capable you are of food independence, the less leverage the system has over you. That makes you interesting to people relying on maintaining population leverage during crises. Purchase number 10, precious metals, gold and silver. Real money, tangible wealth not depending on financial systems. This might actually be the most dangerous item on this list because clear historical precedent exists for confiscation. Executive Order 6102, signed April 5, 1933, required Americans turning in their gold in exchange for paper money at fixed rates. Refusal meant heavy fines and potential imprisonment. It happened. It's not speculation.
And legal frameworks allowing it then still exist today. Currently, large precious metal purchases trigger reporting requirements. Dealers must file reports for transactions exceeding certain thresholds. Anti-money laundering and know your customer laws mean they're tracking real money flows. They know who's building personal gold and silver reserves. In financial crises, capital controls could be implemented overnight. Digital-only currency could be mandated. Physical precious metals could be declared contraband or subject to forced redemption at government-set prices. Roadblocks with metal detectors, seizures during searches, the technology and legal framework both exist. Owning gold and silver is smart. It's preserved wealth for millennia. But understand you're holding something the government has claimed rights to previously and could claim rights to again in the future. The more you buy, especially through documented channels, the more visible you become. Purchase number 11, information and education itself. This one ties everything together and might be the most important to understand. It's not physical, it's information itself. Specifically, information about preparedness, survivalism, and resistance to government overreach. The books you buy, websites you visit, videos you watch, forums you participate in, all of it creates profiles. You think you're just learning and connecting with like-minded people, but every click is logged, every purchase is recorded, every download is tracked, every forum post is archived. The profile being built about you isn't just based on what you buy, it's based on what you're interested in, what you're learning, who you associate with, and what your mindset appears to be. This is the deepest watch list level, not just what you own, but what you think. And here's what concerns me. You can choose not buying night vision to stay under radar. You can decide bulk ammunition isn't worth the attention. But shutting down your learning and research because you're worried about surveillance, that's self-censorship. That's letting the watchers win without them even having to do anything. Back in 2018, I had to make a decision about this. I knew that running a preparedness channel meant visibility. I knew researching and teaching this content would put me on someone's radar somewhere. But I decided the mission was more important than invisibility. Helping people become more prepared and resilient was worth the trade-off of being watched. That's a personal decision everyone must make for themselves, but make it consciously. Understand what you're trading when engaging with preparedness content in communities. The 11 items on the Prepper watch list. 1. Night vision and thermal imaging equipment. 2. Large-scale fuel storage systems. 3. Certain medical supplies in bulk quantities. 4. Secure communication equipment with encryption capabilities. 5.
large-scale water purification systems. 6. Body armor and tactical gear. 7. Bulk ammunition and reloading supplies. 8. Drones and surveillance equipment. 9. Bulk seeds and farming equipment. 10. Precious metals like gold and silver. 11. Information and education about preparedness itself. Each one makes sense individually. Together, they paint a picture. They build a profile. And someone is always watching. That's just the reality we live in. Now, here's what I want you to understand. This isn't about fear. This isn't about giving up on preparedness because you're worried about attention. This is about making strategic decisions with full information. Some of these items might be worth the visibility because they're critical to your plans. Others might not be worth the trade-off for your specific situation. The key is something called operational security, a military concept that applies perfectly to preparedness. Don't advertise what you have. Don't post photos of your stockpiles on social media. Don't brag to neighbors about your preparations. Keep your capabilities private. The fewer people who know what you have, the better off you are. Buy strategically. Cash transactions don't create the same digital trail as credit cards. Smaller purchases over time are less visible than bulk orders. Private party sales leave fewer records than dealer transactions. I'm not telling you to do anything illegal. I'm telling you to think about how your purchasing behavior creates patterns that can be analyzed. Diversify where you buy from. Don't put all your purchases through one vendor or one platform. Spread things out. Mix up your patterns. Make yourself harder to profile. Most importantly, prioritize intelligence and skills over gear. Knowledge can't be confiscated. Skills can't be tracked. The ability to improvise, adapt, and overcome doesn't show up in any database. A person with knowledge and skills but minimal gear is more capable, in the best sense of that word, than someone with every item on this list but no idea how to actually survive.
I've been doing this since 2012, and I've seen the landscape change. Things that didn't matter a decade ago matter now. Surveillance has expanded. Databases have been connected. Algorithms have gotten smarter. The trend is toward more monitoring, not less. That's the environment we're operating in, and we have to be smart about it. But don't let this discourage you. Preparedness is still absolutely worth pursuing. Being ready for emergencies, taking responsibility for your family's safety, building resilience and self-reliance, these are good things, noble things. You're doing the right thing by being here, by learning, by taking action. Just do it with your eyes open. Understand the trade-offs, make conscious decisions, and never sacrifice operational security for ego or social media validation. Before we wrap up, if you haven't grabbed that free guide yet, seriously, go get it. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. It's going to walk you through building a 90-day food supply starting with just $50. That's the foundation. That's where everyone should start. Food security first. Then you can think about everything else we've talked about today. The guide is completely free, comprehensive, and is going to save you a ton of time and money by helping you avoid common mistakes. If this video was valuable to you, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Drop a comment below and let me know which item on this list surprised you the most. And share this with anyone you know who's interested in preparedness. This is information that needs to get out there. Subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm going to keep bringing you content like this. Real talk about preparedness without the nonsense. Practical information you can actually use, and strategies that work in the real world we actually live in, not some fantasy collapse scenario. Remember, the goal isn't to be invisible. The goal is to be capable, resilient, and smart about how you operate. The best preppers aren't the ones with the most gear. They're the ones who know how to think strategically, act decisively, and survive whatever comes their way. Stay safe out there, stay smart, and stay prepared. I'll see you in the next one.